absolutely make sure that these sites are safe to vote.
That is the promise from the governor this evening. Safety at the polls, a clear priority heading into November. Governor Eric Holcomb says he is not planning to allow mail-in voting across the board.
And that's concerning some people after we saw long lines and packed polling places during Indiana's primary in June. New tonight, a study co-authored by Ball State professors finds a connection between in-person voting and the spread of COVID-19 after primary election.
This research focused on the election in Wisconsin, in fact, that was held in April. Fox 59's Kelly Rinke actually talked to Governor Holcomb about this. And Kelly, sounds like he plans to take a look at this study.
Yeah, Fanchon, he told me he has not seen it, but he promised to review it and even talk to the governor of Wisconsin about it. Just yesterday, Governor Holcomb said he has not heard of a single case linked to our polling sites, but he admits it's easier said than done to track these back. Long lines wrapping around polling locations in central Indiana. It was one of the issues during the June primary after changes to keep people safe during a pandemic. There was a similar greeting in Wisconsin when that state held its primary in April.
It seems like there is at least a risk of in-person voting during the pandemic.
With several others, Ball State economics professor Eric Nesson looked at the relationship between in-person voting and the coronavirus in Wisconsin.
He found that if there were more people at a polling location, that increased the risk of the spread of COVID-19.
Yeah, that's correct. So it seems to be in locations where there were more people that were kind of consolidated together. That seems to be what led to the spread.
Their research suggests in-person voting was related to about 700 more COVID-19 cases in the state during the weeks following the election. At that time, masks were not mandated in Wisconsin.
Our results suggest that, if expanding mail-in voting is something that is feasible, that this would reduce the risk of the spread of COVID-19.
Governor Holcomb is now pledging to review this study as he promises the state will have an in-person voting option. Indiana allowed all Hoosiers to vote by mail for the June primary. That decision has not been made yet for November.
I don't want the thought process to be, I'm afraid to go vote in person. It's safe to vote in person. Right now it is safe to vote in person for 28 days before and on the final day, election day.
Right now, Indiana voters must have a reason to request an absentee vote by mail ballot, including being over the age of 65. What if you have concerns of contracting COVID-19?
What I will say is that the Marion County Election Board, we do not verify the reason that a voter selects. So if you were to apply to vote absentee by mail and you selected any of the 12 reasons, we will verify, that you are a registered voter, and we will get you a ballot.
Marion County has already received about 8,400 absentee applications, more than what they usually receive in an entire election cycle.
We will have more people working on absentee applications beginning, as early as next week.
And for the June primary, changes to the election process went through the Indiana Election Commission. I'm told they do not have any meetings scheduled at this time. Fanchon.
All right, Kelly, thank you. We know you'll stay on it. And as of now, any Hoosier can vote in-person absentee. That starts Tuesday, October 6th. Again, you do need a reason to request a mail-in ballot. That can be if you have a disability, if you can't get the day off work, or if you just won't be in the county that day. Applications for those ballots are due October 22nd, and if you do want your vote to be counted, it needs to be in an election official's hand by noon on November 3rd. That means mail early. Dan?